Yeah, so I'm here in Turkey, and what I'm going to talk about in this video are scams to avoid in Turkey. The number one scammer are the taxi drivers. When you take the bus from the airport to Taksim Square in Istanbul, it's quite a long ride and it only costs $3 and something cents. And the taxi drivers, first thing, they know you just got off the plane. They try to tell you that taxis are very expensive in Istanbul. No, they're not. They're very cheap. Then they try to tell you that the meter is in euros. We don't use euros here in this country. We use Turkish lira. Euros would be 10 times the amount. Another thing they'll do is not set the meter and try to charge you 4 or 5 times what the cost should be. Another thing they do is as soon as you hand them the money and you turn to get out of the car and you're not looking at them, they switch one of the bills for a lower amount. And then they say, hey, you didn't give me the right amount of money. Another thing they tried this twice on me in one day, is when I turned to get out of the car, they stuck one of the bills up their sleeve and then they said, hey, you didn't give me enough money. And then that's when I told the taxi driver off and I got out of the car. And they did that. I only took 2 taxis that day and both taxis tried that. And another thing they tried to do is tell me, oh, you got to pay for these toll roads. But if you look it up, the maximum toll in Istanbul is 30 Turkish lira. And the guy tried to say it was 95. So that's the biggest scammers in Turkey are the taxi drivers. The best way I found to avoid that, sometimes you'll see a little tiny building that says taxi on it. And when you see that, you're going to see some taxis parked around it. Those taxi drivers always seem to be honest. And when you find one that's good, get his phone number and use WhatsApp, and then each time you call him and have him come get you. The next scammers are when you're going to like tourist different places. There's these what do you call it? Tour guides standing outside. You'll pay like $10 to get in, and they'll want $50. That's ridiculous to pay that kind of money. Every time I'd tell them no way. And also in all those tourist places, there's these people standing outside, and it's another scam. And they try to tell you part of what you want to see is not opened until a certain time. That's not true. Everything's open. Then they tell you, well, their family owns a shop nearby. Why don't you come with them and check their stuff out? Then they try to sell you all this garbage at a ridiculous price. Guy throws 2 little 3x3 rugs down and he says $150. Those rugs are not worth $10 a piece. Then they always tell you, sit down, have a cup of tea, and they try to sell you all this crap. Another thing, a guy hands me a scarf and says, this is real cashmere, $50. Then he drops the price $10. But what in the hell would I ever do with a scarf? Then the guy says, I told him, I have no use for that. And he says, well, don't you ever buy stuff that you have no use for? No, not when I know for sure I'm not going to use it. And then also their leather jacket. He said, this is $1,000 US, but because of the virus, we're going to give you 60% off, and it's $399. I could buy that jacket for half the price in the US. Another big scam is when you're walking up and down Istiklal Street in Taksim Square. Gabriel Traveler made a video about this, so I knew all about it before I even ever went there. You'll get approached by different people, and they'll try to say they're a tourist, and they'll always ask you, what are you looking for? That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard somebody say. They can clearly see I'm walking up and down the street looking at the stores just like everybody else. Then they try to tell you, why don't we go to a bar and have a drink? They're working for those bars. If you actually go there, they're going to set up a tab for you. You're going to buy about $10 worth of drinks, and they're going to try and charge you hundreds of dollars when you go to leave. So first few people, I talked to them for a minute, and I just told them I don't drink, and then they said, you're the first American that we've ever seen that doesn't drink, because I knew all about the scam. After that, everybody even said anything to me in English. I just kept walking and acted like I didn't even hear them, because I knew they were a scammer. So those are the main scams here. And a lot of people also try to charge you the grain go prices, which isn't right.